is Sacred Bones. It's a conversational podcast about voice, creativity, inner authority, memory, intuition, identity, and the stories that shape a human life. I'm your host, Jean Hamilton-Fford. I'm here with Jillian Starman and Joanne Sprott, and we are going to open up this episode for reflective, honest conversation about what we carry, what we inherit, what we sense, and what becomes possible when we listen more deeply. And today I'm in the hot seat, and I'm going to pass everything over to Joanne. Take us away, Joanne.
Thank you, Jean. I love this sort of stuff. One of the big things in my particular Enneagram is enthusiast. Mm-hmm. So I often get very enthusiastic. Jean gets enthusiastic too. But first, she's going to tell us, please, who you are and what you do.
Give
us a little summary.
Okay, well, who am I? I'm Jean Hamilton-Fford. I'm in the UK, and what I do is I'm an author, a speaker, a creative business mentor, the great nudger, dragon slayer, whatever else you want to call me. That's kind of what I do.
Okay.
There you go.
You left me with an interesting thing that's not even on my list. Tell us how you think of yourself in terms of who you are compared to what you do, and which one is more important?
Oh, well, I am who I am is a divine being of light. What I do is a manifestation of all of that. So one is not more important than the other because they both carry the same frequency, and one is just in different aspects.
So it's all energy all the time?
There you go.
Okay, I got it.
There you are.
And when did you discover this sense of being an energetic being in your life? What prompted you to sort of look beyond what your five senses revealed and have a feeling of that?
You know, I don't really know when it was. I do know having an awareness of it when I was growing up on the farm and talking to the animals.
Oh,
so
okay.
Maybe that's when it was. And that was a budding awareness of it, and talking to the trees and just hanging out in nature because we lived on an 80-acre farm. It's a great place for doing all of that. It does wake you up.
And did you have a sense of the trees and the animals sharing stories with you?
You know, conversations with other beings isn't really storytelling. Right. Conversations with beings like animals and trees and plants and rocks and water and all of that isn't necessarily a running narrative like you might tell a story. So in that respect, no storytelling like that. But information, right? So animals tend to guide you down safe pathways if you ask for help. Trees will shelter you from storm if you ask. They'll move. They'll move their branches and their leaves enough to keep you safe if you ask. You know, it's guidance. It's shelter. I'm not going to say collaboration. Not even working together. It's more like a loving exchange.
Cool.
So I just want to jump in there because, you know, you talk about having conversations and creating conversations. How can we go beyond the surface of conversations and invite people to share what's really happening?
Get curious. That's Jillian, by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with her voice on the podcast. You got to get curious. So you ask questions and keep asking questions and keep going deeper. That's really the only way you can invite someone, because people will tell you what they think you want to know. But if you want to go deeper, you got to ask. And you got to be fearless in your asking. But be kind, because I'm on the receiving end tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this where the great nudger comes from?
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda.
Yeah.
The great, we have to remember it's the great kind nudger.
There you
This
go.
is all for the sake of kindness and compassion, I would assume.
Lovingly disruptive.
Lovingly disruptive. Ooh, I love that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you have some special qualities to your voice. How important is your voice, both the physical voice that you have, I know you can sing, and the kinds of words you say and the rhythm in which you say them? How do you feel about the power of that, and how do you think it is best used?
Well, that's quite a question. More than one layer to that one. Well, first of all, we all have a voice. We can all learn to use our voices for healing. We can learn to use our voices to help people pause and think differently just by the energetic quality of it. There's no need to shout. Sometimes a whisper holds more power. And really, the words that I use, the way that I use my voice, is not something I have specifically trained, as much as I listen when I speak, and I try to listen even before I speak. And when I'm in flow, well, it isn't even me speaking, I'm just the conduit. So I trust that what comes through is what someone needs to hear, and it may not even be for me.
Right. And that I think that does that also apply to your writing? I sense a very authentic and unique rhythm in the way you write in all the books that you've written. And how do you see that? Is that, would you consider that all sort of a channel thing, or is it a combination of things?
It's a channel thing, and I think I am prolific because I don't censor it.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
So when you channel, if you censor or you go back and edit, you are limiting yourself. You're letting your ego get involved. If you channel and trust, then because you're in trust, you don't censor. Because everyone thinks, oh, well, that doesn't sound right. Well, it doesn't maybe sound right to you, but maybe it isn't for you. And it will sound right to the person who needs it.
Right. Yeah. I think that that will resonate with a lot of folks, because many people hold back from speaking because they're thinking about how it lands with some individual or group of people. And in a sense, you're saying, don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. It's not, it isn't for you to worry about that. That's not all you're here to do is to be that conduit. That's it. You're not here to censor it. You're not here to chop it up into pretty pieces and put it back together in a different way. And you're not here to say, I can't say that. I can't write that. You know, when I go back and I read some of the things I've written, it's like, I really did that. It's like, well, yeah, because it wasn't really me. It was and it wasn't. I was the conduit. But that message is for someone. It may not be for me.
Right, right, right. I also know that you're creative in certain other senses, and I understand that you have a physical challenge that means that you can't work with your hands as much anymore.
Mm.
But I'd like you to talk about some of the other things that you have, artistic kinds of things that you have created besides writing books.
Besides writing books and speaking with my voice and all of
Yes.
that, well, besides that, it's the clay, it's the 3D art, it's the just different ways of mixed media. That's what I love to do. And I really want to be able to do some texture art. And I'll probably make that 3D as well, or mixed media as well, because I love using things I find in different ways. I think that's what I do with words. It doesn't really matter if it's writing or speaking.
Right.
You know,
And, oh, sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. I just think that it's so important that we use what's at our disposal and make certain that we use all of it in as much a way as we can. And, there's so many little bits around this place, not only because of my husband who loves to gather little bits and then use them in different ways, but because I love to gather little bits and use them in different ways. And we try very hard to do that before we throw anything out that isn't usable. Everything's usable.
Yes, I agree. And I asked you that question largely because I wanted to help people feel some kind of opening up of, oh, there are so many options for
Tons.
creation.
Yeah.
And let's not restrict ourselves. Like you're saying, you have so many different ways of expressing yourself, artistically or in stories or
Mhm.
anything else, and so does your husband. And sometimes we lock ourselves into, oh, I have to do this certain kind of thing or use this certain kind of method,
Sure.
when in fact we are totally free.
Indeed. I,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
Joanne. I don't want you to forget Jillian. She's chomping
Yeah,
at the bit.
I know. I just,
Jillian.
yeah, this is
Tell us
Jillian.
what.
I just wanted to tap in because I had a question similar to what Joanne was asking. And you've openly shared that you've been living with challenges. And I think there's a lot of people that see that as a limiting
Okay.
piece. But with everything that you've talked about with your creativity, you see potential where most people I think would see this as, oh, I can't do that because I'm not able to. But you don't take it as that. You take that as possibility. So I just wonder what the experience that you've had as you've gone through your life, what has that taught you about human potential?
Oh, well, um, I'll just put it this way, Jillian. And anyone I interface with for any length of time will undoubtedly understand that there is more to them than what they ever imagined, because I see beyond who they think they are to who they could or potentially be. And not just one potentiality. I can show people, look, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. It all depends on what you are willing to do. What are you prepared to take on? And the bigger the dream, the better, because it's all just a process. Life is a process. You got a big old dream? Great. Because you can break that puppy down into process and you can do it one little step at a time and it will get you there. But you have to be willing and you must be prepared to do things that you don't think you could possibly do to get there. It's really quite an adventure.
Definitely.
It's always an adventure.
Indeed.
One of the things that I find fascinating about you, Jean, is your use of rhythm and your respect for your own inner rhythms and physical rhythms. Let us know a little bit about how you discovered that just going with the flow of the rhythms and listening to your body has helped you to manifest what you want to manifest in life.
Well, there's rhythm and there's rhythm.
Okay.
Right? Have you heard of syncopated rhythm?
Yes.
Right. So, sometimes I'm walking along and before long I figure I've got to be dancing because somewhere along that line I am not going in the direction I thought I would.
Okay.
You sometimes have to employ syncopated rhythm and you change your step up or down. Life is that way. It doesn't matter about your abilities physically or otherwise. You're going to be going through life and all of a sudden need to make a change. And your rhythm really becomes part of that. You adjust your rhythm, you adjust your balance, you adjust your cycle, you adjust everything. And you can do that moment by moment, not day by day, moment by moment. That happens. When we're in crises, well, crises usually happen unexpectedly.
Yes, indeed.
You got to change your rhythm, right? So going with the flow is kind of a misnomer because it really is all about syncopated rhythm. And learn that change step because that'll stand you in good stead.
Oh, thanks, Jean. Let's see. Well, I knew I would get something good out of that. I like the syncopated rhythm idea. I just sense this joy from not only what you do, but who you are, that all the things that happen to us are part of the journey, part of the process, and making the most out of all of them. I know that may sound a little bit trite to people, but it's really, really true with you. What was it? Oh, I was trying to think about what I was going to ask. Persistence.
Yep.
When I think of you, I often think of persistence. Can you tell us a little bit about how you use persistence to transform things in your life?
Oh, well, persistence, if you look around you, is everywhere. Just think about it. You can't cook a meal if you're not persistent. Because if you weren't persistent, you'd turn the stove on and then turn it back off. You gotta keep the heat under the fire, don't you? That's how it works. If you're going to take a shower, you got to let the water run. Same with a bath. Persistence in very small doses you can find everywhere around you. But persistence and consistency get conflated sometimes.
Oh.
Persistence is really being in focus so much that from the time you focus on something to the time you get it accomplished, it doesn't matter if it's a minute, a week, a year, whatever, that is always on your schedule to do. You will persistently pursue it. Consistency is something else. Being consistent about your persistence is what you want to do.
Okay.
Right? So being consistent is, well, like I'm posting something on Monday, Wednesday, Friday right now.
Okay.
That's a consistency, right? Persistence says I'm doing that consistently because I'm pursuing a greater thing. So I'm working on 18, 19 essays and I have 3 different companion posts that I'm putting out on LinkedIn. So I have 3 companion posts. Those 3 companion posts fit Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So those 18 or 19 essays will be covered over 18 or 19 weeks, basically. But There is consistency in the persistence of that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Yeah.
So this is Jillian. I kind of have a follow-up to that. So you're talking about how you work.
Yep.
But I wonder if you could think about how everybody in general works. If you could redesign one thing about how we work, how we lead, or how we build communities, what would that be?
Oh my, one thing for 3 different vehicles.
Well,
My goodness.
it could be you could just one thing.
If I had to put one thing clear across the board, Jillian, it would be to have respect for each other. Doesn't matter. That's something that's lacking, and at all levels. Not just at, the people who are doing the grunt work. We're talking at all levels. Because without it, things don't go well.
So digging deeper into that a little bit, what does respect mean?
Well, golden rule. Think about that. That's pretty respectful. You treat others the way you want to be treated. That's pretty simple when you think about it. There's no need to complicate things, is there?
Good point. And I think too, in today's world, and I think we've talked about this too, we are more alike than we are different.
Definitely.
And yet there are many people that choose to focus on the differences that either separate or alienate us. And, when you're talking about building communities, it's about what do we have in common? What levels can we connect on?
Well, I'm not even sure it's about what we have in common, because communities become echo chambers if that's the case. I think it's really more important just to have respect for whoever shows up, and know that if your community isn't welcoming everyone, then maybe you ought to think about it. Think about it a bit, because as long as people are respectful, there should be a place in them for any community. I'm feeling very strong about that. And those people who are so focused on what divides us, my goodness, they're missing all the magic.
They are.
Yep, that's true. Basically took the words right out of my mouth, Jillian, as to one of the things I was going to ask about, which is great, because that means we are on a similar vibe level, and that's why we're all together doing this, because we do have a stake in presenting to the world what we think is a more respectful, in Jean's terms, way of being and communicating with each other. And I think that's something we can model for basically everybody, which is great. I think the next question I'd like to ask you, Jean, is kind of a big question.
Okay.
But how would you like to be known when you're no longer here? What would you like to be known for?
What legacy are you leaving behind?
That's right.
Well, my legacy will be what others perceive it to be. But for me, if I touch one life, I'm happy. Right? My personal mission is to touch the lives of 5 billion people before I pass. Now,
that's right.
I'm not going to do that directly, but the ripple effect is wonderful. But if I can help someone, just one person, I'm a happy camper. That's all I need. Done my job.
Done my job. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Jillian, you got anything else to add to that one?
Well, I think this is a conversation that we're having here between us. So what conversation do you wish people were having more of?
I wish people would have conversations that are real and meaningful. The superficial stuff, there might be a place for it, but let's get beyond that, because when we touch hearts, that's the real stuff. That's the meaningful stuff. I can ask you both how you doing. Oh, I'm doing okay. But that's the superficial stuff. When I notice someone is a little bit flat in their affect, then I can say, I see there's something going on with you. You want to talk about that? Let's just have a conversation. See if we can help each other with it. Right? Because we're all carrying stuff. If we don't share the burden, we're not really helping anyone.
So it sounds like rather than having the general question of how are you doing, we need to be coming up with a few more maybe creative questions that will,
sure,
because I think earlier we talked about, or you made the comment of you just need to ask more questions.
That's it. So what are you feeling today?
First one.
Right.
And so, yeah, exactly. How are you feeling today? And
no, not how.
Feel that way.
No, not how. Just what? What are you feeling today?
Ooh, yeah, I like the what better. I think you're right about that. It will open up a doorway to a deeper answer to the question that you're asking, and I think that would have more value in a conversation and in getting to know someone from the inside out, so to speak, instead of from the outside in, if that makes sense.
And I am very much so about avoiding the third degree. So if you start with how you're feeling and then say what makes you feel that way, it's going down that road of third degree. But if you start with what are you feeling today, you can bypass all the third degree stuff. And people are more likely to feel more relaxed if you can do that. So quality questions are important.
Speaking of which, go ahead, Jean.
I think sometimes in society we get, I don't know if it's the polite questions or the socially acceptable questions that we do, and then they become habit. So it's almost a case of creating a new habit of coming up with new questions.
I think we need to create a habit of fearless curiosity. So we don't hold back. If you really want to get in touch with someone, then be fearless about it. Be curious about it. And ask those quality questions. I think I've mentioned to you both that questions beginning with how or why are questions I try very hard not to ask, because when you ask someone how something, a lot of times they're not hearing that. And if they do hear it, it sends them down a rabbit hole. And the same with the why. The why will do that too. And it's one reason I always revert to what, where, when, who, but not how and why. Because what, where, when, and who are questions people can answer, and they can relax when they answer. Their brains are already figuring that out. Makes life easier. I'm all about that for folks.
So is that your goal whenever you get into conversation with somebody else, is making that response to life easier?
My goal when I converse with others is to open them up.
Okay.
So if I ask a what question, it helps to open them up. What questions seem to be a bit more, I guess, a quality question. They're not a throwaway question. You're wanting to get to the substance. What is a substance? So what is it you're feeling today? That's more substantial than how. How are you? Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're on a line of, pick something like fine. It's a good way to get out of the whole situation if you use that how part. Whereas what, it makes me stop and think a little bit deeper as to what the answer to that question is. Huh.
So that is my intention when I get into conversation with someone, is to open them up. Because most people never see what's there until you do.
And then what?
And then it's just magic. It's pure magic. It's like light bulb moments all over the place. And it's lovely. And weights lift from, you can see the weight lifting from their shoulders. It's like, oh, I can breathe.
Wow. Cool.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
I'm going to have to try that. I mean, purposely try that. Although telling the stalker in the grocery store, what are you feeling right now, might be a little, a little weird. But certainly in a sit-down conversation with somebody, I can probably use that. Yeah.
Well, the stalker in the grocery store is, you're making me feel quite uncomfortable. And if you don't stop, I will be calling the authorities.
That's right. You have to be careful about that. Because you're right, there is an appropriateness level of conversation. And when you come into a conversation, say with a mentor like yourself, I would assume people are going to be a little bit more prepared for being asked the nudger questions.
Not
but
sure.
Maybe not.
I don't know. You and I have worked together, Joanne. I'm not sure you were prepared for the questions I was asking you, but
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, that's the magic of the whole thing, because everybody I talk to is of course different. And the lovely part of that is, I don't use the same tools for one person that I use for another. It really is about reading energy and frequency and listening intently, and then deciding what tool is best. But if I can unlock them and open them up, that's really the whole joy of it.
So what do you think about the power of the pause then? How do you see that affect the person that you're speaking with?
Well, the power of the pause is a beautiful place, because depending on the way it's used, it can bring great clarity. And it can also bring a lot of peace if you let things settle. You have to allow that tension of, oh my God, no one's saying anything, to pass.
Mm.
And once that passes, everybody's like, oh, this is a nice place. And then you can keep going.
Right. There's a feeling of no requirements.
That's right.
Finally. Oh, it's not school. I don't have to answer a question. 4 + 1 = 3.
6.
4 + 5. 6. Whoa. Man, do I need my phone way too much to do everything?
Yes.
That was it. Oh, never mind.
That kind of reminds me, this is Jillian, that, oftentimes when we get in a car that is kind of a closed environment, how many people are you comfortable with in a car not having to keep the conversation going?
Is that a question? Oh, hun, by myself is great. But since I can't drive, there'll be at least one other. And that's okay. It doesn't matter if you know them very well. You can just sit in silence quite peacefully. But I don't mind if there's 20 people in a car. Because, there is a way to get everyone to just be quiet.
So would you nudge them with that?
I just start singing.
Jillian.
All you got to do is start singing.
Oh, that's true.
You start singing very nice and softly, and people be quiet, and they start listening. They'll be quiet. They'll start listening.
That's right.
And if they know the song, some of them will join in. And if they don't, chances are good, as long as you can carry a tune, they might let you finish.
They might let you finish. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. A song really makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does. Mm-hmm.
Have you written songs before, Jean?
Lyrics, yes. Music,
Okay.
no.
No. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But that's because I love my words.
You are definitely a wordsmith, word lover,
Mm-hmm.
word
Yes,
creator.
Jillian. Right. Yep. Definitely a wordsmith, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, on a large scale. Is there a certain time of day or anything? Do you have any kind of way you build in your activities of the day? I'm going to write now, and I'm going to go work on cooking dinner over here now, or is it just flow wherever it wants to flow?
Well, since my days are rather unpredictable, there's no particular time blocking for that.
Mm.
The only time block I do is for conversations. As far as writing goes, I'll put dinner on and write. I'll put dinner on and do something. And I'll get up and go whatever I have to do to tend it and then come back. But it's not all the time. I do have brain dead moments. I'm allowed.
Yes, you are.
And I take the time and I use it as well as I can given what's on my plate. So I have my rest days, I have pain days, I have days when I'm greatly prolific. So I'll every second I have, I'll be doing some writing or
Right.
speaking or something. But yeah, I time block appointments. I like conversations mostly, and make sure that I can show up for folks when I can. And if I can't, I make sure I let them know.
And that kind of talks back to what we were talking about earlier about listening to your body
Mm-hmm.
and understanding what your rhythm is and what you need.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, sometimes we can't predict, like you said, when life happens, emergencies are not predictable.
Yeah.
But, do we have enough energy at the end of the day to face whatever is coming and being prepared for that?
I'm going to say not all days.
True.
But I also am going to say when I am on my chin strap, I still have reserves.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all do. We can all do much more than we think we can. We just need to pull it out of us when it's necessary. And hopefully those moments are few and far between.
Right. Yeah. It's important to take breaks. I have this feeling of people in our world today feeling frantically in need of doing 10 things at once and having 5 projects and having to fill every moment with something either on a device or out in the physical world. And what I really enjoy about you, Jean, is the dedication that you give to paying attention to what it is your body, your soul really needs at any given moment in time. And most of us get distracted and don't do that. So
That's of course when you get burnout.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
really, I think the busier you believe you are, the busier you're going to be. And most of what you're doing is probably not essential. There are so many things we put into our days, and a lot of people fill their days with stuff that isn't truly essential. So they can procrastinate, so they can sabotage, so they can put some obstacles in their way, so they can say to someone, "Ooh, I couldn't do that because of this." Well, you put it there. And if you put it there, you put it there for a reason. And it may not necessarily be so you can accomplish it as much as you can use it as a crutch.
Mm.
Yep.
So think about the things you put in your day and make certain they're essential to what you're doing, to what you're pursuing. Otherwise, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you don't even realize it, because that will give you more room then to honor your body, to honor your rhythms, to get rest, to do what you need to do to be the best version of yourself you can. Otherwise, you're not serving anyone, even yourself. There is the great nudger talking.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. I was going to ask you to sum up the way Jillian asked me to sum up the last time we were together, but you seem to have done it without my prompting.
Yeah.
But I would like to ask that, as we kind of come to the end of our time together, if you could give our listeners one question to reflect on for themselves after we've closed this out, what would that be?
Oh, I got maybe a list of 10.
Of course you
Just
do.
want one? Okay, one.
Well, either that or you could give us 3.
Now I'll give you one. I'll give you one, because one is hopeful enough that it will get people started on a path. One is this. In your life, in all of your life, in all aspects of your life, there will be one thing that you believe takes priority. And that one thing, if it is truly taking priority, you need to look at that fully. You need to look at it through all of your senses. You need to gather as much information as possible about it using all of your senses. So as you go forward, you can look back at what you discovered and understand whether or not you're still in alignment, or if you're out of alignment with that one thing that needs to be the priority in your life. And for everyone, it's going to be different.
Yep.
So this is why I say, look at that one thing. Make that your focus. And it doesn't have to be the project you're working on or the dream you're shooting for. It could be your kids. If they're your priority, then for goodness sake, make certain you're doing everything possible to stay in alignment with their very best interest at heart. It could be your pets. It could be your property. It could be yourself. Hopefully, most people will say themselves. But ask yourself every opportunity you have, am I in alignment? Am I in alignment with that priority? Or have I stepped off somewhere and diverged? And come back into alignment with it, because that one priority that you have in your life, it'll probably change over time. But that one priority is the thing that if you don't focus on it, you're always going to feel like there is something missing. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be upset because, you're feeling uncertain. Keep that in mind as you go. And always ask that question, am I in alignment with my priorities? Priority, right? And hopefully that will serve someone. That's one question.
Thank you.
I think.
Appreciate it.
That was one question.
Yes. Well,
thank you very much, Jean.
Thank you. And I am going to close this out by thanking Joanne and Jillian for some fabulous questions and putting me in the hot seat. I don't get that opportunity very often, so it's quite interesting. And thank you, our listeners, our viewers, for being here. Absolutely. I hope you find something quite useful out of our conversations. Next week, none of us are going to be in the hot seat, but we're going to start conversations that have beautiful meaning around topics I hope will serve you. So please join us again.